Greetings and salutations. Welcome back to this iteration of Tech Tip Tuesday. We normally try to do these on the first Tuesday of the month, but we're doing this one a little bit early to get it out before you need to all enter and submit your final grades. And that's what we're going to be covering today, obviously, is entering and submitting your final grades. So first things first, we need to look at the gradebook and determine which column is set to be released to students, either the final calculated grade or the final adjusted grade. So if you look over here, we have our final adjusted grade and our final calculated grade. Right now we have the eyeball icon over the final adjusted grade. Even though there's a little slash through the eyeball, that indicates that this is the column that would be released to students. They just can't see it. So we're going to change that. We want them to see the final calculated grade, and I'll get into why here in a moment, but this is the column we want them to see. If you click on Settings in the upper right hand corner and click on Calculation Options right here, you're going to scroll down to the section titled Final Grade Released, and this dictates which column from the gradebook gets released to the students. Most of the time you want to have the final calculated grade selected, as that will automatically calculate all the grade items from your gradebook, weighted and everything, and spit out the student's final grade. So we're going to go ahead and switch that over to final calculated grade, or calculated final grade. It's also a good idea to check the box that states automatically release final grades, for obvious reasons. I'm going to scroll down and click Save. Now that we're back at the gradebook, we can see that the eyeball icon has shifted from the final adjusted column over to the final calculated column. So this is what the students are going to see. So this student can see that they have an 84.92, this one can see that they have a 72, 98, so on and so forth. But let's say that little slash was through the eyeball still. Click on the downward arrow in the column of final calculated grade and click on Enter Grades. To make sure that the grade is actually being released to students and they can see it, check the box at the very top left of this spreadsheet to select everything and everyone, and then you will click on Release/Unreleased. So if you look at the far right before I click this, at the released column, when I click it now, all those check boxes go away, meaning that when I click Save and Close, and we go back to the gradebook, the little eyeball will be there, but with a line through it, meaning that students cannot see their final grade. Again, we want to remedy that by checking the box next to everyone's name, click Release/Unreleased, so you'll see the checkbox appear in the release column to the far right, and when I hit Save and Close, now everyone can see their final calculated grade. So that's how we get everything set up and ready to go. Now to get this ready to pull into WebAdvisor, we'll need to go back to the Enter Grades section. We'll need to click on Final Calculated Grade and then click on Enter Grades. And then from here, you will need to pull the grades over from the Final Calculated Grade columns over into this final adjusted grade column. This is the column that's going to get pulled into WebAdvisor. So the easiest way to do it is, if you're satisfied with the student's grade, simply click on this little arrow and it will automatically populate whatever their grade is over here. However, let's say there's a student that has an 84.92, right? So and I already made these adjustments, so we'll just ignore this for now. Boom. Let's say it was going to give them this 212.3 out of 250 points. They're going to get an 84.92, but maybe I want to have them to have an 85 because they really tried this semester. Go ahead and manually adjust the grade in this final adjusted grade column, and when I hit Save, they will have their 85.2 instead of their 84.92. Remember, everything in the final adjusted column, which is grade and scheme, is what gets pulled into WebAdvisor. This is what the student sees, and this is what gets pulled into WebAdvisor. Again, you can just click the arrow to automatically pull the grade over if you're satisfied with it, but if you want to manually make any adjustments at the very end of the semester, this is the time and place to do it. But let's say you have a student who needs to be marked as incomplete. To mark as an incomplete, you would give the student a -1 in the final adjusted column. So let's say that Terry Cloth here needs a little bit more time, something major life event happened and they need to have a little bit more time to finish this class, give them -1 and they'll be marked as incomplete. That way they can still complete coursework. If you have a pass-fail or credit non-credit situation in your class, like that's how it's set up, giving a -2 will be a pass or credit, and giving a -3 would be fail or no credit. And I'll have a guide in this video, should be about right here, that shows you the -1, -2, and -3 breakdowns. We're going to hit save and close. Again, the students still see what their grade is in the class, but this is what's going to be pulled into WebAdvisor at the final adjusted column. And that about sums up the basics of submitting final grades, but you may still run into unique challenges depending on how your course is set up. Don't worry, you can always reach out to the Instructional Design and Innovation team by emailing online@mclennan.edu. So if you have any issues or questions with your gradebook not calculating correctly, you forgot how to make sure that the final calculated column is what the students see, don't worry, just email us. We are always here to help. Thank you, and have a good day.